Oh, there you guys are. I was hoping I'd find you out here. What's going on, Gideon's Tactical family? Today we're taking a look at the blade I carried on this recent trek of mine, the Zero Tolerance 006. Think of the best attributes of a combat knife and a survival knife, mash them together with premium materials and make it right here in the USA. So today we're gonna really thump on this blade, see what its capabilities and limitations are. And I'm also gonna highlight one aspect I am not digging in the overall package with you. So let's go ahead, dive on in and see what this blade can do. And I have to say, at least on the blade front end, as we unpack each portion, Zero Tolerance has absolutely hit a home run. This blade shape and profile, the materials, is a huge win in both roles, survival and combat, and here's why. Right here with those words, CPM 3V steel is an excellent choice to build out a knife like this that we're gonna be putting through the ringer. It has excellent toughness and good wear resistance to go along with that, way outperforming most high carbon steels like 1095, 5160 that a lot of combat knives and survival knives are built out of. And I really tested out the toughness on this and it passed with flying colors. So the blade steel is an excellent choice, but it's only half of the answer to why is this knife so good. The other side of the coin is the blade profile and design that went into the tool and helps push it up the ladder of a reliable piece of kit, just like today's sponsor, which is another big piece of my kit that I rely on regularly, which is my Zoleo satellite communicator. And I'm glad they're the sponsor of this video and just a regular partner here at the channel. And there's really three reasons why I regularly carry this with me. One is the committed SOS button right there, knowing that all I have to do is hit that and I can connect globally with first responders. So that is just like numero uno. Then number two is the value. When I was first looking into satellite communicators, I landed on Zoleo because of the value that it offers. At $200 for the device itself and amazing tier plans to fit any budget, it allows you and me, the user, to not only save money, but give us that safety and security on that Iridium satellite communication network. And then finally, versatility, because you can untether this in just moments and share it with friends and family that are going to maybe going on trips that you won't be able to be a part of, giving them the ability to have that peace of mind. You'll be able to communicate with them. They can communicate with loved ones, back and forth. And then when they come back, you can retether. And so if you've been on the fence, now is a perfect time to have just that extra layer of safety and security when you're out and about like myself, alone on the trail. You know that you can reach out to those first responders or loved ones if necessary. And as an added bonus, guys, if you use my link and exclusive promo code, it'll waive the $40 activation fee. So I encourage you to check out that link in the description of this video and see all that Zoleo has to offer. So here's what I mean about the blade shape and profile. We got 6 inches of overall blade length, about 5.5 cutting edge, 3/16 of an inch thick, on an extremely high flat grind. It means that unlike most combat knives, which are gonna have a short, low flat grind, it's much better at slicing and is not a sharpened pry bar. In fact, I loved using this on finer tasks. Regardless if it was going through a pineapple and like slicing the heck out of the skin off of that thing, it did an exceptional job, reminded me almost of one of my kitchen knives. But then being able to do precision cuts for feather sticks, carving, whittling, you know, those type of activities, it just did amazing through all that, slicing through different things like cordage, rope. You know, if you did have to get yourself out of a parachute, you know, and cut yourself down, or a flipped over Humvee, you know, going through a seatbelt, whatever, easily just butter through that because of how high the grind is. And the way that they ground in the edge geometry is just superb. So that all sounds good for survival, but what about combative roles? Well, with the grind being high, that means that it's gonna slice super well, turning any pineapple into a Pac-Man, and then finally giving him a nice clean haircut, and any other sort of slashing tasks or, you know, utilitarian stuff that you may be doing, it's going to have that geometry that you want to actually work even better. And then for the tip, it gives you the best of both worlds. Most survival knives have pretty blunt, rounded tips, not great for piercing, but most combat knives have swedges and they're very thin and precise up near the top. This gives you a really good drop point, more so than most, giving you decent belly, but not sacrificing the back spine with a swedge per se, though there's a little bit of a cut in. It gives you strength, but it comes down to a good precise tip for great piercing, which means, guys, I really feel like Zero Tolerance has landed on one of the best blade shapes I have found on a fixed blade in a very long time, being able to accomplish both type of tasks without sacrificing much on either end. Obviously, a blade needs to operate well, but I believe many knives are made or broken on how the handle is constructed and how it feels in the hand. And so we'll see if it really checks the boxes that we would need to be that crossover tool. What we have first off out the gate is full tang construction all the way through. It is skeletonized underneath these green G10 handle scales, which means the balance point is right there between that front bolt, which are T15, I believe, and the guard, which means it's very well balanced. Weighs in about 10.5 ounces for the blade and about 13.5 with the sheath. That doesn't concern me in the strength. You know, probably 80% of fixed blades that are exposed tang like this have some form of skeletonization. I've seen it deconstructed. I have zero complaints with, you know, the way it is going to hold up, I believe, you know, for as long as you want to use the tool basically on the handle. And that's not where you're going to see failures most of the time. It's either right up here near the guard or somewhere on the blade. Now you're going to get that screwed on butt cap, which like compresses it all together onto these handle scales, which are about 0.7, I believe, on the thickness. And then you got that steel guard that is not part of the tool. Like you can take it all apart and it will actually slide off, and you can slide it back on. So I've had trouble with other designs in the past that have metal guards loosening and rattling up, and it just becomes really irritating, and just, you know, the tolerances aren't there. So really want to thump on this thing to see if it loosens up at all. Tight, no rattling, so that's really good. So super happy to see that there is no vibrations, no issues, no rattling, because now that guard is absolutely going to keep you in place for stabbing and piercing and, you know, those combative rolls. Same with the G10 scales that have some of these cut-ins that's not aggressive, and versus, you know, some just have jimp everywhere, or there's all these cut-ins that your fingers have to perfectly match into. Gloves or non-gloves, gloved hands, you're going to fill out well. It feels really good. I didn't have any hot spots that way. It totally is passing with flying colors. But what about the woodscraft side? Making feather sticks, doing notches. How does this guard act? And is it a problem? And what about that front jimp? So no issues there with that guard. Let's see what that looks like when I purchase that jimping, if I want to get a little more aggressive. So, I mean, I tap on it every once in a while, but it's not like, oh, I wish that wasn't there because of the design. I'm like, well, that's very capable. It's shorter than a lot of others in the fighting knife, combat knife arena. And it's all rounded, so it's not sharp. And if anything, it just kind of gives me a little resting spot right there on my knuckle if I want to. Otherwise, it's not uncomfortable to completely, you know, get up over it. A little doll. Hello, how are all you blade lovers today? You liking this 0006? Da 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 da. Okay. You know, on the combat side, it's able to accomplish anything this K-bar will do in, you know, keeping my hand locked into place. But on the flip side, you know, it's going to be able to accomplish a lot of tasks like this F6. Now, of course, this F6 is going to be more ergonomic because of the smooth transition, no guard to reach over. But I'm not going to be stabbing anything with this. This is a dedicated, you know, like outdoor woods knife and not a crap hits the fan knife. So this is accomplishing, I believe, both of those and riding that fine line really well. All right, guys. So as I stated, there is one aspect that I am not digging. And if there's an Achilles heel on this design, It's the Kydex Sheath. Now I'll hit the positives with you and then the things that I'm seeing that are definitely drawbacks. So built out of Kydex versus leather, you know, so it's not going to absorb moisture and it just gives you a lot more lashing options. You're going to have lots of holes that you can lash through paracord, Bladehq locks, molly locks, whatever you want to do. Good drainage hole. Comes with a heavy duty nylon web right there, large belt loop, fit over most, you know, heavy duty tactical belts, at least 2 inches right there. You can just unscrew that, rotate it, all good to go. So that's all great. It is super loud. So if you're going into stealth mode, which you would think you would be doing with this type of knife, there's potential to draw attention to it yourself. Now, retention. Uh-oh. We've got exposed blade right there. A simple jump off of over a wall, you know, tuck and roll, something like that. If you're wearing this upside down on an LBE system or, you know, cross draw, the retention is not there. It's going to totally fall out. And if it wasn't for that strap, it'd be gonzo. So the tension is all with these two big flaps right here. You could probably take a heat gun and try and get a little bit better, but the way the sheath is designed, I would not trust it to be run upside down. You know, natural on a belt, no problem. It absolutely does the job. Ultimately, this knife is amazing. The sheath definitely falls short for what I look for in this, you know, type of knife. Now, pricing, competitive options, and just kind of helping you decide for yourself, is this crossover blade the right choice, or is it better, you know, with so many options in the 21st century, just dedicated survival and a dedicated combat knife? Hopefully this portion will help you out. Now, I just had the doorbell ring one day and this arrived at my doorstep, so I appreciate ZT Knives sending me the samples so I could test it out for you guys, show you pros, cons, to help you determine for yourself if this is the right tool for you. If it is, or other competitive options make sense for you, always appreciate it when you use the hyperlinks provided for you in the description box below this video. Now, at $320 on average is what you're going to pay for this. That is on the higher end of 3V steel. Absolutely, ZT's kind of known for that, kind of being on the top tier pricing chart for the materials. But you can look at the Reef Knives F6 as a dedicated survival knife. This guy's almost $400. It's like 380 bucks, made in America, 3V steel, G10 handles, Kydex sheath, excellent outdoor knife, really set up well for that, but this is by no means, you know, a combative tool. Then if we talk combat, you know, we got the US combat knife from Tops Knives, American made, 1095, full tank construction, micarta. It is massive. It's much heavier, 8 inches of blade length. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot more reach, 1/4 inch thick, you know, low grind. So, I mean, it's a sharpened pry bar, but if you just need to stab meanly and do some slashing, and that's about it, man, I mean, that might be the right choice. But if you're going to ask me to go make 5 feather sticks and get a fire going and do some triggers and traps, the ZT I'm going to gravitate to more so. Yes, it's a pretty penny, you're going to have to pay for it, but Zero Tolerance has executed this design so well, and it's very unique to what we normally see in the market now. But I look forward to hearing your guys' comments, your feeling. I always appreciate your guys' thoughts, particularly if you own this model. How is it performing for you? What do you think about it? And until next time, guys, I invite you to check out the other video popping up, to subscribe, and always remember, stay equipped, stay prepared, and I'll see you out there.